Hey guys, it's me Lachlan. I'm here today with another top 5. It's been a while since we've done one of these bad boys, and today's top 5 is based on games that I want to see come back in 2015, so titles that are announced or titles that will come out. So it's quite an interesting list that I had to compile over the last few days. I really had to give some thought into what games that I really wanted to see come back, and this was based off of things such as potential and those little personal games that really pulled sort of heartstrings back in the days, the kind of games that made up my childhood. So I ignored some of the sort of blatant obvious ones, for example Half-Life 3, etc. You guys know the blatant obvious ones. And I felt as though this list that I have compiled today, which is technically a top 5, but may sort of drag on, is a list that I personally believe has a lot of potential and could really make a difference in the gaming world. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this and bring you my first title for 2015. So to kick it off, I have Sleeping Dogs 2. Now Sleeping Dogs was a fantastic open world game on the old generation of console, and its combo of gunplay and martial arts was something that was really epic. Coupled with the fact that it had a fantastic storyline and plotline, it made for a very desirable game to play. Now I finished this game all the way through, and I couldn't help but think of the graphical and gameplay potential Sleeping Dogs 2 could have and muster on a next generation console. Now the free running, skull-breaking, gun-kicking, knife-wielding action could make a huge comeback, and I feel as though Sleeping Dogs 2 would be a game that could do incredibly well. You only have to look at, for example, recent films such as The Raid Redemption and The Raid 2, which were very successful martial arts gun-style films, to see just how well Sleeping Dogs 2 could potentially do as a game. Now I thoroughly enjoyed the first installment, and it is understood that the current studio that made Sleeping Dogs is actually looking into a free-to-play model for a new game, which is a very interesting move to take. Who knows, maybe with enough fan attention, Sleeping Dogs could make a huge comeback into the next generation market, and I for one would certainly enjoy that prospect. Next up for me is Skate 4. Now Skate has always been one of those franchises for EA that's sort of been the rabbit out of the hat, let's say, and it's been one of those games that's thoroughly sort of ignored in terms of topics. They're kind of very wary to talk about Skate as a whole, and it's just sort of kind of, hidden. It's sort of gone off of everybody's radar, out of everybody's mind, and I find that kind of weird. Now back in its heyday, Skate performed very well in its prime. It emulated much of the original enjoyment and success that the Tony Hawk's franchise had when it first started off, and I could see Skate 4 being a title of huge potential. Now if you consider the open world design that Skate originally entailed, couple that with good multiplayer and good servers nowadays with really enjoyable modes, and also add on the fact that there's really good damage models. I remember one of the main pinnacle points of Skate was the fact that you could like skydive off of scrapers and give yourself stupid amount of damage and break all your bones and earn points for it. I feel as though Skate 4 could do incredibly well if they just put some time and effort into it. It's one of those games that really sort of should be there, but it isn't. Now, I hope to see an announcement on Skate 4 soon, and it's been a while since skateboarding fans and skateboarding, console fans have ever had anything to relate to that is to the scale and enjoyment that a skate game could be. So, you never know. Maybe 2015 is its year. Now, for my next title, it's a very, very touchy topic to mention around me, and that is Command & Conquer Generals 2. Words cannot describe the anger that came to me when Generals 2 was cancelled. Poor choices such as free to play and just lack of direction really pissed me off when they said that they had cancelled the game. Now Generals, the original, which debuted back on PC and I think it was like 2003, was a fantastic real-time strategy game, and it basically shaped a lot of what real-time strategy is today. It's the only reason I'm even slightly interested in real-time strategy as a whole. It shaped a lot of the system, it shaped a lot of the mechanics, the core gameplay. It really shook up things that, real-time strategy had never considered before. Battling between factions, a real battle of intelligence and tactics and gameplay was something that we hadn't seen for ages in a real-time strategy, and it's something that can only really be emulated in sort of recent titles, such as, for example, StarCraft 2. And StarCraft 2 and many of these other real-time strategies run off the simple principles that Generals 2 and Generals 1 set as a standard. Now I feel as though EA need to take a stand on Generals. It is a franchise which is beloved by many people, and I feel as though if they take away Generals and they give it to a different development studio such as DICE to restore the legacy that is Command & Conquer, we could see something really magical unfold. Next up for me has to be Jak 4. Now, Jak and Daxter will always hold a special place in my heart. From the originals to the HD remaster on PlayStation 3, I've played every title, completed each one, and even that really bad attempt at a racing game, I even played through that as well. And Jak and Daxter has always been one of those special games, and something that was really sort of critical, shall I say, to my childhood. Now this spot was originally reserved for Kingdom of Hearts because I had to choose between which one, you know, if I'm going to choose a childhood game, it's got to be Kingdom Hearts or Jak and Daxter. And thankfully, Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming. It is going to happen. It is going to take place on PlayStation 4 in 2015. But if PlayStation are really intelligent, the Jak series is a beloved series. And if they want to see PlayStation 4s fly off the shelves, they have to look no further than announce that Jak 4 is happening. And with Naughty Dog now finished with The Last of Us Remastered and supposedly working on other projects, it wouldn't surprise me to see if a Jak 4 announcement was on its way at next year's E3 or Gamescom or whatever, and hopefully, just hopefully, we can see something happen with the Jak franchise, which has been pretty stagnant now since the remake on PlayStation 3. So my number one today is actually quite odd, as it's actually fallen as a tie between two games that I have selected. I just couldn't outweigh each one as to how much I'd love to see them return. So my first pick was Battlefield Bad Company 3, and a lot of you will probably say, well, why is this game important to you? Now, I really do desire seeing a new reinstallment to the Battlefield Bad Company franchise. It was the title that essentially shaped myself as a player in Battlefield as a whole, and pretty much every single first-person game in general. It's the reason I play first-person shooters. It was the game that got me into the FPS genre, and Battlefield Bad Company to me has always been special for everything from the destructibility in the game to the, you know, just sheer graphical power of the game and the balancing and the amazing DLC that we saw in Bad Company 2 Vietnam and Bad Company 1. It was just like, it was a game that was just, you know, off the chain. It was off the scale for me. You know, it can't be replicated by any other game anytime soon when it comes to first-person shooters. Now, I really do want to see Battlefield Bad Company 3, and when Hardline drops, undoubtedly the first project that should be on EA's mind is to make Bad Company 3 with all of its original protagonists, all of its original core mechanics of the game that makes it special. And there's been lots of controversy over Battlefield Bad Company because DICE doesn't even know how to do it. They don't know how they want to make this game. They don't know how they can please their fans for Bad Company 3. And, you know, I just hope that they can do something within the next few years to solidify Bad Company 3 as a title to be created. Then we have my other number one, which hands down has to be TimeSplitters 4. Now, Crytek back in the day built a fantastic and hilarious title. It was a really fun title as well, above anything, you know, an enjoyable title. And it was loved by lots and lots of people, but they have never mustered up the courage and all the financial power to create a fourth installment to TimeSplitters. Now, TimeSplitters 3 ended on a very good note, still has potential to be there, and considering the financial issues that we have at Crytek now, despite the devs wanting to make the game, it looks like it has a very bleak future. Fans themselves have even taken it upon themselves to try and create TimeSplitters again for the new consoles, but with Crytek holding onto the copyright status of everything, it's making for a very difficult time for the franchise's fans as a whole, and hopefully something needs to pass soon just to allow the game to be created by fans, or for them to actually try and do it themselves. Now, it's one of those games for the new consoles that has, you know, lots of potential just because it's so different. It's kind of a shooter, but in the same sense it's not really a shooter because it has so much, you know, comedy to it. The protagonists in there, like the handyman and, you know, all of these really weird characters. It makes for a very interesting game. So hopefully something a bit more different in the PlayStation/Xbox lineup could come in 2015 in the form of Time Splitters 4. So that's about it for today's top 5, which was technically 6, but still. And I want to know what games you want to see announced in 2015, or maybe ones that you want to play in 2015. Maybe a particular title that you keep precious to yourself, and maybe even your gaming past or history. It could be anything from like a Call of Duty Zombies collection, a remaster of that, or something to as small as maybe an indie title that you really adore. So let us know in the comment section below. It's been me, Lachlan, guys. Thank you for tuning in with another top 5, and we'll see you again with a brand new one soon. That preferably isn't actually a top 6, but actually a top 5. But anyways, we will see you then.